The Junta de Extremadura has activated the ANUNC's Special Civil Protection Plan in case of emergency 1 due to flooding in several cities in Extremadura due to heavy rains. Currently, the biggest complications are recorded in the municipalities of La Roca de la Sierra and Cáceres due to rising water. The Junta de Extremadura has to be extremely careful behind the wheel due to heavy rains and to avoid, as far as possible, traveling on roads in the region during these days, due to the presence of standing water and given the difficult situation due to the intense rainfall. At least 90 students from IES La Roca de la Sierra Badajoz were trapped unable to leave the center to return to their town due to roadblocks caused by rainstorm Efren. The Emergency Services 112 and the Ministry of Education and Labor Junta de Extremadura were forced to apply special devices, and the evacuation will be carried out by all-terrain vehicle via a country road. So La Roca de la Sierra is one of the cities most affected by the hurricane, and there has been flooding on the ground floor of the IES and CEIP in the city. Anyway, the Central Center has opened today for tomorrow. It will depend on the weather conditions and how the work cleaning and drainage of access to the center accelerated, added the same source. At the same time, heavy rainfall caused many complications on Extremadura roads and even road closures. Because of this, there are school transport lines that have been affected, such as the one that transports students from San Vicente de Alcántara and Albuquerque to Badajoz, to the 2 special education centers where the Civil Guard has sent buses for complications. On the street because of the rain, this morning the students who traveled by school bus to IES de la Roca de la Sierra were also sent back to Villar del Rey. In anticipation of important road complications at the end of the school day due to pools of water that had accumulated in the roads. Likewise, there are some transport routes that have to find alternative ways to get home, or take them home ahead of time to avoid bigger complications due to water buildup, such as those going to IESO in Madronara. The end of the school day has also had to be brought forward in some cities due to the risk of flooding and following City Hall recommendations, such as CRA Montellano, in Garcias, or CRA Quercas, both in Aldea del Obispo as in Centennial Village. Likewise, in the Los Angeles de Badajoz Special Education Center, water is also concentrated inside. Therefore, the center arranges with families to go home, advancing the end of the school day. In a press release sent out in the evening, the City Council has announced the incident that occurred today as a result of the storm. In this sense, he explained that the autonomous bridge has been closed to traffic, displacement must be avoided and important steps must be taken so as not to collapse the bridge and facilitate the work of emergency vehicles. During the night, the relief work will continue apart from the work of sealing the gardens and riverbanks. In Badajoz, many calls have been answered for waterlogging on roads, falling cornices, and flooding of garages and houses. The City Council reminded that since 0900 there has been a sudden flooding of the Zapotan River in the Valdebotoa district, causing flooding of several houses located next to the stream, dragging 2 vehicles and flooding others. Local police officers covering the point had evacuated 12 people and onward by Red Cross, fire and Civil Guard boats to many others. The Gavora River also rose at that time, which flooded and isolated all the houses that formed the core of isolated houses and came to invade the roads leading to these districts. Thus more than 50 houses and about 200 people were evacuated, some of whom remained on the roofs of their houses or on the roofs of their vehicles.